thoughts on tonight's match, please?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's the first game of the Easter period for us, and I think we're going to face a good challenge from London. They got a good win last week, and we got a good win. So hopefully we're looking for a bit of open football on a big pitch here. We've got now at Post Office Road now, and we can kick on from last week.
Can you give us any team news on tonight's match?
We've gone with the same 17 as last week. I thought everybody put their hand up, and since the Whitehaven game we've improved week on week, and the boys who played last week deserve the shirt again. So we've gone with the same 17, exactly, same bench. We've brought Jack Bussey into the 19. He's warming up. If anybody goes down, him or Andy Ellis will replace him. But that's pretty much the news.
Much different propositions the last time out against Dewsbury. We had a good win last time out, but London a different kettle of fish under Andrew Henderson.
Yeah, they've got some good players. I think Dewsbury at Dewsbury is a tough game, and we got a good win there. But this is a different game, and we've got a lot of young kids in. They're a very enthusiastic team, a couple of old heads as well. So we know it's going to be a tough game with plenty of work to do. They've got a good back three, and they've got two real good dummy halves. So we're going to have a game on our hands here, and we need to do our work and play with enthusiasm and kick on from what we did last week.
How important is discipline today after reasonably poor discipline in the last few weeks?
Yeah, we've been talking about it, and our error count and our discipline needs to improve, and we've just spoke about that in the changing room. So hopefully we can get on the right side of the penalty count this week.
Andy, thanks for your time. All the best.
No worries, thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Big Fella Stadium here in Featherstone for today's Kingston Press Championship match between the Featherstone Rovers and the London Broncos. Rovers haven't played London since they played Broncos in the Challenge Cup a couple of years ago when they were knocked out by the Broncos. But I think it was 24-12 on the day. Good performance by Rovers on the day. London, under the new stewardship of Andrew Henderson, started off his reign with a great win at Halifax last week. The team news for Rovers. The team news for the Broncos, first of all, starting at fullback. A player well known to Rovers fans, although how well known I'm not sure. It's at fullback is number 5 is Ben Helliwell. In the three quarters, number 2 is Rhys Williams, number 3 is Ben Farrer, number 4 is Wesney Karma, and number 5 Elias McCarney. Sorry, number 20 Elias McCarney. At halfback in for Gilmore comes number 22 Oscar Thomas, and scrum half is number 19 Joe Keys. In the front row for the Broncos, number 12 is Rhys Lovegood, number 14 is Brad Dwyer, and number 30 in for Everett, who drops to the bench, comes Dave Williams. On the second row for the Broncos, number 11 is Daniel Harrison, and number 15 is Matt Garside. And in from the Rhinos, should I say, comes number 31 at loose forward Elliot Minchella. On the bench for the Broncos, number 9 is Ray Nasso, number 29 is Jamie Thackeray, number 17 is Ershon Dolapi, and number 23 is Toby Everett. Rovers unchanged for the third match in a row. Great news to finally see a settled team. So once again, no Andy Ellis, no Jack Bussey. They are 18th and 19th man today. Rovers line up at fullback is number 21 Jai Hitchcock, number 5 is Ben Blackmore, number 1 is Ian Hartman, number 3 is Nathan Chappell, and number 2 Will Sharp. In the halves, number 6 is Paul Sykes alongside number 31, so good in that second half, especially at the Rams last week, Remy Marchinet. In the front row for Rovers, number 8 is Jordan Baldwinson alongside number 16 Andy Bostock. In between those two, hooker is number 9 Sam Irwin. In the second row for Rovers, number 18 is Jamie Cording, and number 19 is Alex Foster, and the loose forward is number 13 Tim Spears. On the bench for Rovers, number 28 Will Milner, number 17 Matt James, number 10 Paul Wood, and number 27 Jack Ormondroyd. As the Broncos come out, And today's match referee is Mr. Michael Woodhead. Joe, your thoughts on today's match, please?
Well, today's a huge game in terms of those all-important top 4 places. London truly showed that they brought some fight to the table. Last week's win over Halifax at home, 22-18, they ran out the victors and really staked their claim to be up at the top of this competition. Rovers, meanwhile, have been on a steady run since going down in early defeats to Lee and Bradford, both here at the Big Fella Stadium. Since then, we've seen convincing signs of improvement, and they're starting to link up and show those combinations far more. It's a new team, they'll continue to get better and better. In both cases, who's going to run out top tonight as the players now come out onto the field for the Rovers?
Just how London changing coaches a couple of weeks ago, bringing in Andrew Henderson. He's taken his place in the stand alongside Brian Noble. Just how big a change is that, and what sort of impact is he going to make on this Broncos team?
Well, Andrew Henderson, already being on the coaching staff, of course, will be familiar with the players, which I think is always important, particularly when you've got a lot of young lads in the squad. Minute silence, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, please have your attention. Earlier this week, the club was saddened to learn of the sudden death of Paddy Langley in the young age of 19. Paddy was a fanatical Rovers fan who attempted getting Felton away and even had spells on the ball by him at Featherstone. On behalf of the players, officials and supporters of the Featherstone Rovers, we would like to offer our sincere condolences to Paddy's family and friends, and on the referee's whistle, we'd like to ask you to join us with a minute's applause to celebrate the life of this remarkable young man.
Fantastic minutes round of applause there, Joe, for a youngster who died early in the week, Paddy Langley, a Rovers fan who followed Rovers home and away.
Yeah, thoughts go out to Paddy's family, but well respected there. Round of applause that the lad, I'm sure, will be pleased to hear.
I'm sure he will. Just looking down this Broncos side, a lot of threats in this Broncos team. A possible weakness as well, Joe?
Yeah, without a doubt, Ben Helliwell at full-back. He's an interesting decision, of course, with the injury to Richie Mathers. Apologies, folks, I'm running the camera at the moment because Jamie's bobbed
Dave Williams.
So, Ben, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you, Joe. Dave Williamson takes that first tackle and the ball is shaken up by the Broncos in the 20, though. That's good defence. The ball is worked out to this short side. And it's Matt Garside, number 15 in the Broncos. Don't know a lot about a lot of these Broncos players, Joe, but from what I've seen, they've had a mixed season so far, unbeaten at home, but so far unable to get any result or a win away from home.
Yeah, well, that's always going to be a difficult ask for London. I mean, it's a big journey, isn't it? But they have been travelling up a day ahead of games. You do look at this squad, though, and you think there's a lot of new players like the Rovers team, so you'd expect them to get better and better throughout the season. And, of course, a lot of youngsters there from the successful academy setup they have, and those players likewise will improve with more game experience.
Here are the Rovers, and inside the Broncos 40, Ben Blackmore, superb performance last week, involved in an early play here as Rovers now on the 30, centre field. Sam Irwin waits, he's attacked in half back, he looks left and right, he's going to go to the right hand side, he's going to go himself, tries to duck under the tackle, that's good play from Irwin, makes a good 10 metres. Marginet now though, moves the ball out to Sykes. He'll put a high kick up early in these conditions. Let's test that winger out on that far side, a penalty is given for tackling in the air. So a good first set for Rovers, Joe, pinning the Broncos back, getting to last tackle, but tackling in the air, a soft penalty to concede. Andy Hay won't be happy with that one.
Yeah, not the perfect way to end your set. Sharp in there, a bit slack really, but at least when you're tackling in the air that close to the touchline, they're limited on the yardage they can make, so they're still only starting out on their 20-metre line, and there's a good chance that we can put in a good defensive set here and look to hold them back within their own territory.
Here are the Broncos, they're out on that far side then, just 35 metres out, just short of that red line, which is an American deals in the NRL in America. In not America, Australia, sorry. I do apologise. Here are the Broncos then, in possession, it's Reece Lovegrove. It's a kick from dummy half there from Brad Dwyer. Controlled by Jai Hitchcock. He's got room to run into. He'll take on that Broncos line. Superb starts this season for Jai Hitchcock. With some great return play from full-back. And here are the Rovers in possession now. A knock-on's been given. So Rovers turnover possession, Joe, on their own 20. And the first real chance this match goes to the Broncos.
Definitely, London have been delighted with this start. Neither side having a period of possession on the line in these opening 3 minutes. I'd like to tell you what that announcement was about. Did you hear it, Ben?
The clock on the scoreboard is not the official time, it's for guidance only.
That's wonderful, because I've not started my clock, so if you're keeping the time on this at home, I'd stick to that one, guys. London now just to the right and 15 metres out from the Rovers try line. They bring it across field. It's running hard there. Now they're just to the right of the sticks.
It's Lovegrove in possession. Brad Dwyer goes from in half back. He moves that ball inside. Here's a chance for the Broncos. Matt Garside again causing some problems early doors.
The water really kick up from the turf there. That could play havoc with some of the long kicks.
Brad Dwyer there takes on that Rovers line from dummy half. He gets the offload away. Garside again puts a little kick in. That kick, you could see the water spinning up, Joe, on the surface from that kick. Rovers did very well to take that.
Definitely, Ben Blackmore's pounced on that well, but it's going to be a tough ask for them to get out of his. Ian Hardman doesn't make any yards on that first tackle, but an offside is given, and Rovers have a chance to break out here. Hands in at the ruck, rather.
Either way, it's the Rovers.
Interesting signal, that's for sure.
It certainly is, and it's a relieving penalty for Rovers. They were pinned tight to their own line there.
Good kick from Sykes, and it gets us out to the 35.
And so here's the tap from Hardman then. Marginet moves that ball onto Baldwinston now. Baldwinston gets Rovers over the 40. That's a good drive. Making it further 3 or 4 yards with 3 Broncos players on his back. Here's Bostock now. Bostock charges up to the line as well. Rovers on halfway. This is a great set at the moment. Rovers work it out to the left-hand side now. Just outside the Broncos 40. Irwin. Here's Sykes. He shows it once. Finds Marginet. Marginet drops that ball off to Foster now. Foster on the spin. Rovers making good yardage here inside that 40. Irwin goes himself. That's a great dart. Rovers then 25 metres out, centre field. Bostock attaching half-back. That's a great kick from Sykes, is it? No, it's too deep, it's going to bounce. And it bounced dead. Joe.
Yeah, disappointing way to end the set yet again, but they've come up well there. The Rovers started out on their own line and they're up well into the opposition territory. We saw there Paul Sykes, whenever he had the ball, he was running it up to the line and sending it out to his runners. It's exactly the kind of thing we wanted to see. It's exactly the kind of thing we saw from him at Wakefield and previously Bradford. It's the reason we signed him. Now as Rovers concede a penalty there, and London with an opportunity to get on the front foot.
Indeed, a Rovers Broncos penalty is taken. And the Broncos will start on that Rovers 40 now. Brad Dwyer's the hooker. Takes that tap and he'll move that ball inside. Through the hands it goes now. And here are the Broncos with David Williams. That's a good drive onto that 40 now. Dwyer waits. He moves that ball further infield again. It's not Matt Garside, sorry. It's Reese Lovegrove. Here are the Broncos and working down that right hand side. You can see the spray coming up off the turf.
Definitely look at the light bouncing off that ball. It's going to be havoc in terms of handling tonight.
Here are the Broncos and working out to this left hand side. Good defence from Rovers at the moment. Keeping the Broncos out. Williams is acting half-back. Moves that ball inside again. That's another good drive from Garside. Getting through a lot of work in these early stages. That's the last tackle. The Broncos 8 metres out, 10 metres to the left of the sticks. Come down the short side. That's a dab through. It's a great take from Hitchcock's. Superb positioning. Another good defensive set for Rovers, Joe.
Definitely. We saw some important work from Marginet there. People have commented on perhaps his supposed defensive frailties, but certainly he's got some impressive cover defence, the little Frenchman.
Ben Blackmore earlier in that set sending us a bit of a wild pass, which I don't think Paul Sykes quite appreciated. Rovers are still in possession, able to work out though. That's another good drive.
It's a great handoff from Chappell there, and he earns 15 metres off that drive.
Here's Baldwinson. Bostock, that's a good offload to Bostock. From a standing start, the monster's going.
What a fence!
Still going, Andy Bostock. What a run!
Just short of halfway.
Marginet slips on the surface. That's going to be a knock on, is it? Yes, it is. Unlucky Marginet trying to get the kick away there, Joe, but unable to make contact, so the knock on is given just inside the Rovers half. And in fact, it's a turnover on the last tackle.
Yeah, we're just not quite ending these sets how we'd like to, Ben. We're making good yardage, running with ball in hand, but the kick is a very important part of the game, and we're just not getting it right tonight. Well met, though, there by the defence of Bostock and Spears.
Williams, it was taking that drive, and I think Dave Williams has felt that tackle on his haunches. Here are the Broncos attacking down this left-hand side again. A forward pass and a knock-on, you can take your pick. So the Broncos are also turn over possession. A very scrappy game in these opening 10 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. It's tit for tat, and that's exactly the way we expected it to be. These conditions, ball retention is going to be all important, and it looks like we've got two evenly matched teams out there on the field tonight.
Rovers then will get head and feed at this scrum. And here the ball is out, and here's Nathan Chappell. Disappointing game for Chappell last week, but looking to make amends today. As here come Rovers, it's Will Sharp. Ooh, Spears juggles with that one, but manages to hold on. Rovers just short of halfway. Here's Baldwinson now, that's a good run, but again, the ball coming free and neither side are able to hold on at the minute, Joe.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tackle there from Williams on Baldwinson and causes him to spill the ball now as London bring it down the left side.
London targeting a lot of play down this Rovers left, Joe. Do you think they've seen a weakness or?
Well, perhaps they've watched recent DVDs and they've seen that Marginet, perhaps he's not got the bulk to deal with the likes of Garside over on this left-hand side for the Broncos. That right edge, it'll be important that Hardman's able to cover him, but equally Marginet's got the legs to deal with perhaps lack of pace from Hardman.
And now the Broncos turn to spill the ball. I know it's wet conditions, folks, it's having a lot of problems on there, but a couple of early sets completed, but both sides struggling to complete a set at the minute, and I think, Joe, the key tonight is going to be ball control.
Yeah, I think we've spent about 30% of this game setting that out scrums, Ben. And the teams are getting on with it, to be fair, but Hardman there takes that first drive in Rovers down this right hand side. Irwin's at the foot of the ruck and sends it inside to Sykes. It's a long pass on the first tackle, and Baldwinson there, he has to adjust to keep hold of that ball. London attacking the ball, and they're playing very clever in these conditions.
Sykes drops that pass off to Spears. Here's Irwin now. Slips on the surface. It's going to be one of those nights, isn't it, Joe?
The team that masters the conditions tonight are going to walk away with the 2 points, that's for sure, Ben.
Bostock in possession. That's a great offload to Irwin, but not able to do anything with that one. Sorry, Margin 8. It's Irwin in at half. Here's
I've got orange
Sykes.
boots, we'll let you off.
Sykes with the kick over the top. That's a great kick. And he's held up as well. That is probably the kick of the match so far.
Fantastic kick and a great chase by the Rovers defence there. Tackle just inside their 10. Now they're looking to bring it out down the right side.
Let's keep your discipline now, Rovers. No penalties. Here are the Broncos then, trying to come out. That wall of white defenders at the moment. And here are the Broncos now, just short of the Rovers 30 in centre field. Dwyer moves this ball out to the left. It's going to be an early kick. It holds up on that turf and it stops dead for Will Sharp to pick up and return. Will Sharp cuts across field. It's well met though by Brad Dwyer. On the Rovers 30 as the lights come on around the stand on the far side, or one of them. Here's Marginet now. Takes on that line again. Such an impressive match last week, Joe. You can see him growing into this Rovers team.
Yeah, definitely. He's got some twinkling toes as Remy Marginet, and he evades the defence so fluently.
Here's Baldwinson now. Well met though by the Broncos. Coming up to 15 minutes gone here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 0, London Broncos 0. That's another kick from Paul Sykes, and yes, again another perfect kick, Joe, pinning the Broncos back on their own in their own 10-metre area.
It's a clever one that. He's got it to bounce and go out within their 10. So yeah, they set the scrum on that scrum line, just 10 metres out from their own area, from their own in goal rather. And the Rovers defence are set. They're going to meet them hard and they're going to look to pin them back.
Right, Rovers then. That scrum waiting to be set down. It's been a mistake ridden opening 15 minutes here at the Big Fella Stadium. Both sides trying to use that ball, but wary of the conditions. It's causing a lot of mistakes as well, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. Just need to make sure that we complete our sets, and to be fair, in these last couple, Rovers have been able to do that, and Sykes has got away some cracking kicks.
Here are the Broncos now. That ball's lost.
He spilled the ball.
It's Marginet. It was Brad Dwyer who drops it. Marginet still going. That is superb.
Definitely, he's done well there. He's taken the ball, and Bostock sends it into Spears. He's now down the middle of the field, and Irwin stood at the foot of the ruck. He can go either way. He chooses to go left through Sykes. Sykes, he slips on the turf. Unbelievable tonight. No one can keep their feet, and no one can keep hold of the ball.
Certainly not. Sykes looks to have maybe pulled a hamstring there. We'll keep an eye on that one. Here are Rovers though on the charge. Pushed back well though by London. Good Broncos defence there. Irwin comes right. Marginet now. Shows it once. Hitchcock's out to the wing to Ben Blackmore. A knock on from Blackmore. Maybe the wrong option there from Hitchcock's, Joe.
Yeah, I think that had been spotted well there by Williams on this wing. Williams, of course, the Welsh representative. He's had many an impressive performance at international level, and he brings some experience to this London side on that right flank. So I think we'll see an interesting duel between Blackmore and Williams tonight. Can Blackmore get the better of him? After all, he had a fantastic game last week. Dewsbury's been the game of the season for me so far, and Ben Blackmore was essential in that performance.
He was indeed. Paul Sykes has had treatment from the physio. He's still on the pitch for the moment. Does look to be struggling a bit with his right hamstring though. We'll keep an eye on that one. Rovers can't afford to lose Sykes, can they, Joe?
No, definitely not. He's been very important in this coming to form that we've had since those defeats to Bradford and the Centurions. So can't do with losing him, especially for his kicking game.
Here are the Broncos now then, just short of their own 30-metre line, centre field. Here's a run from Acton half, back by the Broncos. think that's Ilias Marcani, it was, and there's a kick again from acting half. Hitchcock's trap sitting then almost slips, but manages to retrieve his footing and return that ball well. Been a feature of the Broncos game, Joe, a couple of times from acting half the kicking. Normally you see a lot of the times it'll go out to the first receiver, but Broncos kicking a lot from acting half.
Yeah, we've seen that a fair few times from them, and of course on those last plays you don't want to be risking passing of the ball because it's difficult to keep your feet in this weather. We've already seen Marginet struggle to get a kick away as Ben Blackmore spins out of the tackle well there. So if you can kick from acting half, if you can get it away without the defence closing you down, then take that option by all means.
Alex Foster had
great drive from the young lad from Leeds.
Had to reach for the pass though, Joe. It was a little bit in front of him. And here's Martian. He'll put that ball into the air. Howie under the high ball. Rovers player taken out of the ball. That's a penalty for Rovers. And what a great position that is for
Got
Rovers.
in there, blocked off by the Broncos, and Rovers now with the penalty, 20 metres short of the line. This is a big chance. We've just under 20 minutes gone, Ben.
It is. The referee has stopped the clock. Looks like Rovers are going to run this one. As on comes Paul Wood. And Andy Bostock leaves the field. Good stint from Andy Bostock.
Yeah, definitely. He's caused plenty of problems. He's punched a lot of holes in this Broncos side. And now, what a better player to bring onto the field to calm things down and make sure we get over the line here than Paul Wood.
Interesting, Rovers running this ball. Running that penalty. Sykes having to reach that one. Here's Martinet, an inside pass. Rovers have still got that ball. Interesting decision, Joe, to run it. I'll come to that one in a minute. Here's Foster. Steps on the inside for that line. 2 metres short now, Rovers. Martinet drops it off to Paul Wood. Paul Wood takes on that Broncos line. The ball is knocked on. Rovers turn over possession, and in these conditions, Joe, this sort of weather, is it worth just getting some points on the board?
Possibly, with it being a tight game and definitely low scoring at this stage. Neither side having registered a point thus far, but it was quite far out. It wasn't a certain kick, especially in these conditions. The ball's slippy, it's not cutting through the air the same way, and you know, rain's still been spitting about, so you never know whether it's going to go over, and it's a wasted opportunity.
Here are the Broncos and coming out from their own 20-metre area now.
You've also got to consider, of course, that both of these sides have leaked points, but neither of them have had trouble scoring, so you've got to think it'll open up more in the second half.
Quite possibly. Ben Hallowell then in possession there, takes that tackle. Here are the Broncos then. It's McCarney again. Getting through a lot of work is McCarney at the moment. Rovers fans, a couple of Rovers fans on that far side wanting a knock on. I don't think that one was ever going to come though. It's going to be a kick from the Broncos. It's a good high kick.
Oh, Delapi sent that one into the stratosphere, but Hitchcock's is under it. He spills it on the challenge though, and they've come away with it, the Broncos.
And this is a free play for the Broncos as well.
Keys has the ball, he juggles it, but he spins inside.
Keys it was, that was a superb effort on the zero tackle as well. Dwyer now shows it and goes himself. Finds Keys again, Keys is looking. Broncos line attack a bit disjointed there, Joe. A real chance on that play, but the chance goes. Here's Dwyer though now. Swirts out to that far side. Once again it's McCarney.
Good line speed there from the Rovers. Meeting London well here. They're pressing us high on the line.
Here's the Broncos then attacking that Rovers line. It's good attacking play, but good defence from Rovers to hold the Broncos out. Inside the 10-metre area now. Dwyer waits. He'll move it to this left-hand side. Garside gets a kick away somehow. It's going to run dead. It is a disappointing end to a set for Broncos. The referee sees something and stopping the clock. What's he going to say? He doesn't know, I think, how to restart this match.
No, Bostock's got blood.
Andy Bostock, not Andy Bostock, sorry, Tim Spears
here. He's receiving some attention, he's having to leave the field.
Looks like a blood bin substitution, Tim Spears with blood. So we're going to see an introduction possibly a little bit earlier than expected, Joe. Jack Ormondroyd coming on for Rovers.
Yeah, Jack Ormondroyd on the field now, so we've got 3 props on: Paul Wood, Ormondroyd, and here is the referee awards a forward pass there, I believe. And it's going to be a scrum down to the Broncos, 30 metres out. They've got another opportunity to press our line here. And we're undergoing a bit of a defensive challenge here at the moment. It's got to take something to weather this storm.
It certainly is. Rovers their own worst enemies at the moment, turning over possession cheaply, and especially in a match where they didn't opt to take the 2 points earlier on.
Definitely, but we are putting in a good defensive effort, and London to some extent are looking a little devoid of ideas.
Here are the Broncos now. Let's see what they do with this set. It's Rhys Williams taking on that Rovers defence. So 25 metres out, 10 metres in from touch. Here it goes through the hands of the Broncos now. Toby Everett is on for London as well. That's a great effort down this left-hand side. It's cutting inside of the Broncos.
Howard drops the ball off to Williams there, and he's inside now, just 10 metres short of the Rovers line.
Dwyer again. Oh, that's awful. They've got away with it. It went backwards, says the referee. Here's Garside. Rovers struggling to wrap Matt Garside up.
He ducked through the challenge there, and he had me going for a minute, Ben.
Dwyer again. That pass is a bit better from him. Here are the Broncos though, now attacking down that field, edging ever closer to that Rovers line through Lovegrove. Dwyer goes himself, and he's over for the Broncos. It's Brad Dwyer who gets the first points of the afternoon. There's 24 minutes on the clock here at the Big Fella Stadium. First blood to the Broncos. It's Featherstone Rovers 0, London Broncos 4.
Well, that is slack, Ben. You can't be buying dummies from acting half-back there under your post against your big rivals for a top 4 spot. It's been a very close game. We've seen excellent defence to hold them out on previous occasions, and then a bit of sloppy defensive play there. We need to make sure we have our men stacked in, and you can't buy dummies like that. Plain to see for anyone in the ground.
Indeed it was. That very, very disappointing soft try for Rovers to concede, and I'm pretty certain Andy Hay won't be happy with that one. Such good defence in the opening 24 minutes though, Joe, leading up to that, keeping the Broncos out on a couple of occasions, and mistakes as well. It is going to be Wes Naikwama who's going to be taking this kick. Can't afford to be conceding points like that, like you say, in a match like this. Such a tight game when you're not going to take the 2 yourself, and then you're going to concede a soft try like that.
Definitely. Nakwama's got this one just in front of the post, so you can be certain he'll take it to 6 points. He's got it lined up now. To say it is a doddle to send over, he's taking forever about it. And sure enough, it's a successful conversion.
Indeed, 25 minutes gone here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 0, London Broncos 6.
Well, it's all right to go back down, Ben, but 15 minutes on the clock, how do we respond to that? You know, we can still be going in at half-time in the lead. Just need to make sure we put in a deep kick, put it high, put it to Helliwell, because he can't catch for Toffee. And make sure we have a good chase.
The kick does go up. It is taken by Helliwell, by Garside.
Ben Helliwell's got a bit bigger.
Here are the Broncos now then.
Come down a day early, of course, London Broncos, so I have plenty of room service. I can see why you made the mistake.
Brad Dwyer causing a lot of problems with acting half in this opening 25 minutes as well, Joe.
To an extent, yes, but equally, Hookers can only cause so much trouble. The rest of it you create for yourselves by not watching out for them.
Here are the Broncos then. Dwyer again. That's another kick from dummy half. I think that's the third or fourth time he's done that one.
It's a clever one. It's in between the fullback and winger, and it goes dead, however, so it's going to be a tap on the 20. Jai Hitchcock's not got much urgency about taking this, but he gains his speed, taps it in the middle, and takes this first one up. Only makes 5 metres, however.
I think that was probably more of a territory kick than anything. Here are Rovers now in possession, over on that far side, bringing the ball out from their own 30 now. Irwin moves that ball in, it goes through the hands of Sykes. Marginet moves that ball on. Irwin takes on that line himself, that's a good run from Irwin. Ben Blackmore goes into acting half-back. He'll take on that line himself, he can't get away though from Brad Dwyer. Good defence from acting half from Dwyer. Irwin now though, moves that ball back into Wood. Sykes with a high kick, that's a great kick. That's a good take on that occasion by Ben Helliwell. And Rovers, just to cap it off, concede another penalty, Joe.
He's obviously been practicing full-time training. Yeah, conceding another penalty after the kick there, the Rovers. We're just struggling to end our sets once again. We went through a period where we'd started to improve on that front, but it's an important game to be playing it up the right end of the field today. Difficult ball handling conditions, so there's got to be mistakes made. Just make sure it's made where we want them to.
Toby Everett plays that ball in to Brad Dwyer. Dwyer moves that pass into the centre there. It's Elliot Minchella on loan to Broncos from the Rhinos. Slow play the ball from Minchella. And here are the Broncos again. It's Reese Lovegrove it is, taking that ball forward. Here are the Broncos attacking down that right hand side. That's another good break, it is. Just short, just on the Rovers 20. And that ball is taken in by Toby Everett for the Broncos. Dwyer waits. He'll move that ball inside to this left hand side. A good kick through. It's hacked dead. Jai Hitchcock's not interested. And it's going to be a drop out on the 20.
Marginet puts that one in behind, and now it's a drop out from under the sticks. Yeah, Marginet, wearing same colour boots, will let you off. And it's going to be a drop out from under the sticks, not the 20, because they didn't fail with a penalty kick. It was just a kick behind, but keep trying, it's fine, Ben.
Not having my best evening tonight, I do apologise. Here are the Broncos from that dropout.
It's alright, I've made a shed load of mistakes too, you just haven't noticed.
From acting half-back, then here come the Broncos down the centre field. Reese Lovegrove again. Met by good defence from Paul Wood on that occasion, and Cording. Ball is moved out to that right hand side though with the Broncos.
I think we're lucky to get away with that challenge. Ben looked a bit high to me.
Here are the Broncos then. Attacking that Rovers line again. Real chance here for the Broncos to stretch that lead out further. Good defence though from Ormondroyd on that occasion. Dwyer again looking to cause the problems. He offloads that one. Here's Everett. A metre short, it's the last tackle. Matt Garside is turned over. Excellent defence, excellent goal line defence on that occasion. Rovers forced a turnover, but from the Broncos' point of view, you couldn't turn it over in a better place, Joe.
No, definitely not. Now we're starting 10 metres out, and they've got an opportunity to hit us hard and keep us down here. Only making a metre there, Baldwinson off the first tackle, and Cording runs it in hard but only gains 5 in second. Hitchcock's now at the base of the ruck, takes it in well there.
Rovers then trying to work out from their own 30, struggling to get through this Broncos line at the moment. Irwin drops that pass off to Will Sharp.
Substitution for Featherstone Rovers, number 17, Matt James, replacing number 8, George Baldwin.
As Matt James enters the field, Rovers are away down that left-hand side.
It's a good stint there from Baldwinson. He's come under the cosh a bit tonight, but Nathan Chappell surely being held in the challenge there, and sure enough, the referee awards the penalty.
It took his time to award it though, Joe, I'll say that much. Seemed to be holding on for an eternity, did the Broncos then.
Didn't have, but came eventually, so no complaints. Now we're penalty on the 40-metre line. We kick it, and we're just 25 metres short now. 8 minutes to go. Can we get some points on the board?
Sykes finds Matt James on from the bench. For Baldwinson, who's taken a well-earned breather. And here come Rovers on the charge. 10 metres out, centre field. Almondroyd plays that ball to Irwin. Irwin finds Marginet. Hitchcock's Hardman now. Tries to offload the pass. It's off the Broncos. Oh, that's a controversial one. Hey, look, I think, to be fair,
the touch judge just told him, and I think the scum's been awarded to the Rovers here.
Can't say who it's been awarded to. I've not seen a clear signal from the referee.
Yeah, the referee has awarded a scrum down to the Rovers.
So Hardman,
he's had a call from the touch judge there. Well done, Lino.
Hardman there trying to offload to Blackmore on this wing. Broncos getting a hand to it. So Rovers with 7 minutes left of the first half. Six tackles in the Broncos line.
In front of the posts. Only 10 metres away here. Irwin scoots down the right side. Wood's got the ball. It's
Rovers are over.
And Armourroyd is over. Try.
A superb move down the right-hand side. Hitchcock took that ball on, took the line on, got the offload away to Baldwinson, and Baldwinson able to crash through a gap, get that ball down. Not Baldwinson, sorry, Almondroyd. Almondroyd it was who crashed through a gap.
The transfer of Featherstone Rovers, sponsored by Blackwood Plant Training, number 27, Jack Almondroyd.
Almondroyd's first try of the season for Rovers. And what a time to get it. 6.5 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. With a kick to come, Joe. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 6.
That was the best one you've done, Ben. Yeah, kick to come. Kick to come now, and Will Milner replaces Sam Irwin on the field, and so you feel that Remy Marginet will go back into hooker again. Here as Paul Sykes lines up the kick, the referee's taking time off the clock. Interesting, because I think the other conversion took an eternity as well. This one a little closer to half-time, however.
Rovers needed that score before half-time, and they've got it.
Definitely did. 5 minutes now to play.
Oh, he's hit
that
the
one
post.
hits the posts.
We could really have done with that one sailing over. So with 5.5 minutes left of this first half, Joe. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 6.
Yeah, just 2 points shy, and you don't need better motivation than that, lads, to go and get another score. Make sure you get going at half-time on top.
Another try will be very nice for Rovers, but surely the other key point has got to be complete this first set and don't concede again before half-time.
Absolutely, we say it again and again. It's all about how you follow up your tries, not how good they are when you score them.
And here will be the Broncos then with this kick-off. It's Naikama who takes it. It's well taken by Will Milner, who brings that ball back. Looks like Marginet has moved into hooker. And Will Milner in at the halves.
Substitution for Featherstone Rovers, number 28, Will Milner, replacing number 14, Sam Irwin.
Higgs, Blackmore now. Marginet moves that ball out to his right hand side. Sorry, it's Paul Wood. Rovers now just short of halfway. Sykes finds Matt James. Matt James on the charge. That's a good run. Gets Rovers inside the Broncos half. Marginet again. Here's Sykes again. He'll give that ball some air. Cording is chasing it. Helliwell takes that well, but what a hit by Jamie Cording.
It's a fantastic hit. He certainly felt that one. He felt that one right into tomorrow. Kwame there scoots away from the ruck. Well pinned by the Rovers though, and Cording's working hard in defence here. He nabs hold of Williams and hauls him to the ground.
Great defence from Rovers there. Jamie Cording superb there. That's a drop-off pass from the Broncos. Not really come off for them on that occasion. Brad Dwyer, that looked borderline. Referee happy enough. Broncos just short of halfway. Here's the last tackle now. Dwyer. It's a kick through. It splits the hooker and the winger at the fullback. Sorry, the winger and the fullback again. Sorry. Hitchcock picks up and returns. I think I need to go home and start this commentary again. I'm sorry, folks. It's not my best evening, I have to say.
It's a late night. It's fine.
Here are Rovers now in possession.
It's those hot cross buns. They've gone to your head. Marjane now stood at the foot of the ruck. He brings it down his left side. Sykes have the ball. He takes it to the line. He sends it inside to Hitchcox.
What an inside pass that was as well. Here are Rovers so attacking. The ball's come loose, has it? Referee's allowed it to go on. I thought the ball had come loose.
It's been juggled there, but Sharps tackled into touch, and it's going to be a turnover now. Broncos will look to play out the half from their 30-metre line.
Just how costly that missed penalty, that option not to take the 2 points early in the half will be for Rovers, time will tell. As things stand, it's the difference between the two teams. With 2 minutes left on the clock, the Broncos have got a player down on the far side. Can't see who it is from here.
I think it could be McCarney.
I think it is, you're right, I think it is Ilias McCarney. Trots back into the scrum now. So looks like unless barring any mistakes, it's going to be the last set for the Broncos. Rovers maybe get 1 or 2 tackles. Rovers penalised from the scrum. That will not please Andy Hay. That's poor discipline, Joe.
Differential penalty awarded because we're offside. Too eager on a quick line speed because the ball took an eternity to come out of that scrum. Broncos now starting on the Rovers 40. Squire with the tap.
Rovers
inside.
Rovers need to keep the discipline, need to keep that defence tight.
Keys, but he's unable to get it away to Garside. Just a minute on the clock now.
Rovers need to keep the discipline at the moment, keep that defence tight. As here come the Broncos into that Rovers 20, they go 30. Here are the Broncos again. That's a good breakthrough there from Lovegrove. Dwyer takes on that line. That's a good run from dummy half, causing a lot of problems at the moment. Dwyer. Here are the Broncos again, 10 metres out. Working that ball across the line, it's Helliwell. Well wrapped up by the Rovers on that occasion. It's the last tackle now. What's the option? It's the short side. It's a kick through, that's going to be too deep.
Too much weight there on the grubber from Delapi, and Rovers have 1 more chance in this game. They've got to tap on the 20. Less than 30 seconds left on the clock. If you've got a big play, now's the time for it.
Interesting to note from that restart, the fullback drops back on the first tackle. Being so close to half time, one of the options was a kick and chase, Joe. Not taken, the fullback aware of that, and it dropped back early.
Yeah, definitely now as Blackmore brings it scooting away down his right flank. Just need to complete this set and make sure we put a good kick in, have a good chase, and anything can happen. It's a real lottery in these conditions when you put it up in the air.
Here's Ormondroyd. The stadium clock says it's half time. A kick from Hardman of all people for the corner. Finds touch 15 metres out. Probably not the best option for a kicker, Joe, with the likes of Marjane and Sykes on the field. But Rovers, I think, just completing the set, finding touch and wanting to get in at half-time as you were.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 points short. you think level would be a fair account of this first half. Both sides have been fairly even, and neither of them really showing a particular attacking flair. It's been difficult in the conditions, I suppose, but hopefully they'll have mastered it by the second half and we'll see some good attacking rugby.
Indeed, here are the Broncos and bringing it out from their own 20. Surely we're close to the end of the first half. That's good defence
drive
from
there
Rovers.
from Williams, but he's hammered back there from Wood and Foster. Marginet and Hardman there in the tackle. Just need to look to pin the Broncos back here and make sure we keep scores as they are now going into half time.
That's a good drive from Acton half back by Elliot Minchella. Makes a good 10-15 metres, plays the ball to Dwyer. And again the option of kicking from the base of scrum. Good pressure from Matt James. That ball fight forces pressure on the kick and it's straight into the hands of Will Sharp, and what a return.
Sharpie there just shrugging off his opponent after taking the kick off the full. Hitchcock's dummies and fences way through the gap.
It's got it away.
Tackled by Garside, be sent inside to Will Milner. Now Rovers just under 40 down the middle of the field. Marginet is at the base of the ruck. No penalty awarded, and now the hoot has gone. We've played it to the left. Cording's going to be tackled here, and that's going to be the first half. Got the offload away, and then it's a penalty awarded.
Take the two.
Do you take the two? Do you go for one?
The half-time hooter has gone.
I think Rovers are going to elect to kick a goal here. Sure enough, the referee signals that, and Paul Sykes grabs hold of the ball. He's going to hopefully send his side in level going into this dressing rooms, rather. I'm getting Ben syndrome.
Half-time hooter has gone. Hence the reason why Sykes is taking this conversion. Been a very nip and tuck first half, a very etchy first half. For the first 25 minutes until the Broncos got the first try from Acton half from Brad Dwyer. That was converted by Naikama. And then 6 minutes before half time, it was Rovers overthrew Jack Ormondroyd. That conversion hit the post from Paul Sykes. And now Paul Sykes with a chance to atone for his earlier miss and send the Rovers in level. This will be the last action of the half. Here is the kick. It's missed. Oh, another kick missed by Paul Sykes.
Paul Sykes, 2 attempts at goal now. Neither of them have gone over. Henderson would have certainly been displeased if that one had gone between the uprights. His side conceded a penalty in the final play of the half. Perhaps showing some naivety from the young squad.
A real let-off there for the Broncos. Joe, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, it's been tetchy, hasn't it? Neither side really grabbing a stranglehold of this game. Neither side really grabbing hold of the ball consistently. Sometimes you just need to make sure you stick it up your jumper, complete your sets and put in a good kick. It has seemed on many occasions when Rovers have been able to put in a good kick, though they've been giving away penalties, piggybacking the Broncos up the field, and it's a shame really, because without that I don't think they'd have spent much time up at our end, because we're meeting them with such fantastic defence. As always, our middle is dominating for my money.
They certainly are looking strong up front, especially Baldwinson taking the ball in well, Foster in defence as well. Blackmore with some good returns as well, picking up from where he carried on last week.
Yeah, definitely. His commitment was questioned earlier in the season. Last time he proved all the questioners to be wrong when he gave the best performance he's given here over Shirt. Arguably the best performance of his career. This week looks like it could be no different. It was 6-4 in the Wigan St Helens game earlier today. That turned out to be a belter of a second half. I'm sure it will be exactly the same here, Ben.
Indeed it will. So half time here at the Big Fella Stadium. Make sure you come back for the second half. Plenty to play for. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 6. Welcome back to the second half here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 6. Just waiting at the return of the two teams. Joe, if you're Andy Hay in there right now, what are you saying?
Joe Crabtree's got a report to write after this, and you're not getting much to talk about, lads. Let's get past the ball about a bit and make something good happen.
Conditions obviously playing a massive part in today's match, but it's the same for both teams, and London haven't really been in this game other than on the back of Rovers' errors.
No, every time our fantastic defensive effort has been able to bring them back, apart from when we given penalties away to pick it up on the field then.
The cheerleaders are coming back out onto the pitch, signal the imminent arrival of the two teams. Rovers were playing away towards the new stand in the second half. What used to be classed as up the slope, whether that slope is still there or not, I can't tell now, with the pitch being extended. But just how important is it to keep ball control? It's massive, and saw so many errors in that first half, Joe. Surely the message has got to be just keep hold of that ball.
Once you're starting in their area more often, you've got more opportunity to score, the more opportunity you have to score, the more likely you are to win the game.
In the context of the season, Joe, just how big is this quarter this weekend? 2 games at home against who are, you would probably say, two of your big rivals for the top 4 in the Broncos tonight and Sheffield Eagles on Monday.
Definitely, you look at those third and fourth places and you say Featherstone, London, Sheffield and Halifax who are beating Bradford at the moment. They're the teams that are all up there.
Indeed, Bradford 0, Halifax 6 is the latest score, and the latest score in the other match is Dewsbury 11, Batley 0. So it's all to play for. Such tight games at Bradford as well. It's going to go down to the wire this season.
I've got to remember when Bradford were at our place, they stepped up under the game in the second half. And so, you've got to be aware that they could well do that against Halifax and more.
Indeed they could. The surface is very slippery out there. A lot of players losing their footing. We've also seen some kicking. Difficult to judge the kicking game in these conditions as well.
Yeah, sometimes it'll land in a funnel and stick where it is, so not sure what's going to happen. Stop taking the mick out of my hand gestures, people at home now. It's the political debate I'm doing the Tony Blair.
Ah, that's what it is. Fair enough. Still awaiting the return of these two teams for what should be, hopefully, we'll see a lot more ball control in the second half from both teams. Where have there been the dangers in that first half from the Broncos? I mean, Brad Dwyer at hooker acting half been dangerous to the Broncos.
Yeah, but only if you look past the gap slip down the middle then. Yeah, Brad Dwyer's been very opportunistic and Gabby's jumped on that opportunity to play his head up comes for runners on the outside of him and he thinks the right pass off the hill, so he's always going to cause danger.
It's been a real forwards battle. Who's winning the battle of forwards for you at the minute?
Looking out on top down the middle, particularly in the drop speed. You've got fantastic impact players like Rosie really hammering into the early doors. He just epitomises class, does that man. Become a favourite from the off, really, hasn't he? Jordan Baldwinson, he's come under the cosh a bit tonight, but yet again, been impressive and a fantastic work rate. He can never fall on his performance.
Definitely not. And Rovers tried Jack Ormond right first try of the season. A well taken try down that right hand side.
Arguably, but he certainly doesn't look out of place, does he? You've got Ryan Belinda, he's going to be coming over in the coming weeks, or any night too, obviously, on the plane as we speak.
Please welcome back to the field, the
Ryan's got a
Broncos.
job to this place. Jack Ormond right from the squad, that's for sure. Now it's the Broncos one.
Yeah, the Broncos returning to the field now for the start of the second half. Just awaiting the return of the Rovers now. The thumb comes up, and here come your very own Featherstone Rovers.
And please welcome back to the field, your Featherstone Rovers!
Matt James and Paul Wood leading the way. Rovers are going to get first use of this ball in the second half. And completion rate, Joe, that's the key to this match. It's got to be a completion.
He catches clean on his first ball into the air and put it in hard. Quite quickly, like you said.
It's going to be Joe. It's going to be Wes Nakama who's going to get the second half underway. Just having a word with the referee, who is Mr. Michael Woodhead. Just testing the wind, like he'd not had the wind in all of first half, but testing the wind himself. Fair enough. The ball is on the tee. The second half is underway. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 6. Come on, you Rovers. And Nakama gets that ball underway. On the bounce, it's well taken by Rovers, and here comes that return. And it's a good first return from Rovers.
Said running in hard, and Ben Blackwell simply did that. He gets himself just 10 metres out from his line. Gordon runs in hard in the second. Help if my mic was on, of course. What I said was absolutely inspired, brilliant, beautiful analysis, if I don't say so myself. Shame you missed it.
As Paul Wood spills that ball, and Rovers with an error on the first tackle. It's a free play for the Broncos. It's a kick through, and it's going to come back for the knock-on. It's going to come back for a knock-on on the 30-metre line. So that's the free play, and Joe, cardinal sin from Rovers. You've got to complete your first set of the half.
Definitely makes a huge difference. Broncos could be starting in their 30, instead they're starting on our 30-metre line with a chance to score straight from the off-bench.
And again, the Broncos in possession only from a Rovers mistake. So here is that scrum down now, once it eventually does pack down. Out to the base of the scrum, and here come the Broncos now. Attacking down this near side, it's good play from the Broncos. Nakama plays that ball. Through the hands it goes. Here's Oscar Thomas. Brad Dwyer still on the pitch. A lot of hookers you see get rotated after 20-30 minutes. He's played the full 40 up to now and he's back out again, Joe.
Yeah, it's been an impressive set of minutes there from a hooker, and Rovers of course opted to rotate with Marginet dropping in at hooker tonight. Andy Ellis out, and hopefully he'll be coming back for that Sheffield game. Referees stop the clock here as Broncos have a man down 5 metres out. Already battered by injuries this squad, so they wouldn't want to lose another one.
Certainly not. Jamie Thacker there, it was on the charge, who was held up just short. A good charge, and the Broncos good position here. I think the thumbs up, I think that was a thumbs up from the physio there.
I think this is Brad Dwyer here down on the floor, so definitely not a player they'd want to lose. Try scorer in the first half and been hugely important to this Broncos performance so far is Dwyer.
Interesting, the touch had just been on and had over the referee about something. Jack Ormondroyd has been put on report. I'm assuming for the party played in that tackle, I don't know. Referee signalled a penalty, saying it's been taken off the ball, Joe. Come to that one in a minute, but here are the Broncos in possession. 5 metres out, set right underneath those sticks. And they're over. The Broncos are over.
Thomas, the waves just parted for the standoff, and he finds his way over just on that right scrum line.
Oscar Thomas it was. It was a good move from the penalty awarded for, I can only assume, for an off-the-ball tackle, which saw Jack Ormondroyd placed on report, and Oscar Thomas saw a gap. The seas parted, and Oscar Thomas just walked straight through the gap. Not what Rovers wanted, off the back of poor discipline again. Poor ball control on the first set, and the Broncos in possession, Joe. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 10.
slack from the Rovers, and now Naikwama with this conversion has an opportunity to take his side 2 scores into the lead. First time in this game that would be the case. Put daylight between the two teams, and no one to blame but the Rovers there. They've given up possession, conceding the scrum there to the Broncos on their 30, and then with that penalty, London have an opportunity to cross the line. They take that opportunity and they extend their lead.
Certainly do. A very poor try from the Rovers' point of view. The sea's parting there, and here comes Wes Naikwama with this conversion attempt. Here is that kick. It's a good one. Straight between the uprights it goes. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 12.
Well, there we have it. It's 2 scores to difference, and the pressure's on now for the Rovers. This is going to take some serious response. Needs a deep kick now from Paul Sykes. A good chase, and got to start to hammer into them and show them what it means to play on home turf.
Interesting to note, Joe, Rovers this season so far, unbeaten away from home. As the kickoff bounces on a mistake. Oh, what a mistake from the kickoff. Shocking defence from the Broncos, and Rovers with a chance to hit straight back. Rovers this year, Joe, have not won at the Big Fella Stadium. 4 wins have all come away from home, and the way you'd expect them to be strong to make this stadium a fortress, they haven't won this year.
I would have looked to the fact that they've played Bradford and Lee, which are the games which would suffer defeats, and the games you're referring to, perhaps the opposition have more to do with the results than the ground they're being played at, but it is something to consider now as they lose the ball there 10 metres out. London come away with it. That's slack. We had a good opportunity to get ourselves within touching distance, and we just didn't take it. Rovers lacking efficiency tonight.
Hitchcock, it was in possession there in that tackle, trying to offload in impossible circumstances. Here are the Broncos then relieving. Rovers turning our possession and basically letting London off of what was a poor attempt at taking that kick-off, Joe, and a get-out-of-jail free card.
Definitely, and it's a long kick there from Keys. Blackmore uses his feet to stop the ball, and then he runs it in hard. He's broke through the first line, and he's playing the ball just outside of his own 30. Ball's taken up to the line here from Hardman. He's down the centre, but he's wrapped up well there by the London defence, and they drive him back.
Remy Marginet waits, attacking half-back. He'll move that ball to the left. Sykes drops it off. Cordin looking to offload, but no one there to offload to. Irwin. Matt James now takes on that Broncos line. And once again the ball's come loose. Rovers turning over possession again. Rovers, Joe, just can't complete a set at the minute.
Tell you what, from a London perspective, they've got to come away with the win tonight, because Featherstone have given them all the opportunities in the world. I do agree with you, that one was borderline.
Certainly borderline, to say the least. Rovers have got a player down in back players here to the Broncos.
Thomas plays the short ball and forward pass is awarded.
It looks like Jack Ormondroyd who's down. Referee puts a scrum down, head and feet to Rovers. Stops the clock as Ormondroyd is currently receiving treatment. Another let off for Rovers, Joe. The forward pass there. Rovers turning over possession once again.
Yeah, definitely. We need to keep hold of the ball a bit, Ben. It's plain and simple. These conditions, we're just not playing smart. Rugby, we're trying to run it in one-handed, use our fens, get the ball away with offloads, stick it up your jumper, complete your set, work to a kick, and then when we're up there, and we can look to play a bit.
Rovers then, the ball is fed and out of that scrum. Here's Ian Hardman now. In games like this, surely you want to be looking to more experienced players just to calm things down, Joe. The likes of Ian Hardman in the side, Paul Sykes in the side. Just rally each other, say keep your head, get your head down, control this football. It's out again. A penalty for Rovers.
in strict there, and we win the penalty on our own 30. It's near the centre of the field, so you don't think we'll gain much yardage.
As
We get ourselves up to the halfway line.
As Jordan Baldwinson returns for Rovers, and it's Jack Ormondroyd, the Rovers try scorer, who's gone off. Did pick up an injury a couple of minutes ago, of course, so maybe that's had something to do with it.
Perhaps the case, and Baldwinson will bring some intensity into this side. Marginet now stood at the foot of the rope, and he brings it inside to this side.
As Rovers once again turning over possession, the Broncos trying to pick that ball up, couldn't do so. They also knocked on, so the first knock on is given. It's going to be head and feet to the Broncos, and every time Rovers get in a decent position, Joe, the chance is gone, the possession gets turned over.
Yeah. And that Kwame now, the Fijian international, brings it down the right hand side. McCartney jumps in at the foot of the ruck here. I can't say it. And he brings it inside. He's well wrapped up there by Cording. And it's a good defensive effort there from the Rovers.
And Dwyer at the base of that scrum moves that ball in field. That's taking on the Rovers line, should I say. I can't talk tonight, I do apologise.
Brad Dwyer now acting halfback. I'm going to start saying acting halfback. That's a knock on surely. And the referee's seen it.
Oh, Joe, I have to say it. The control of this ball tonight is shocking. Basic rugby league. I saw him before the match started, out on the pitch, practicing the distribution as if from the play the ball from a standing start, and to make a mistake like that is criminal.
Definitely the case. It's no good planning your pass if you've not picked the ball up. Ian Harmon now bringing the ball to the right. Hitchcock has got himself free. He's there with that trademark fend. He's worked himself on the inside. He dummies the offload. He succumbed to the challenge. That's wise play, because otherwise, with Milner's run there, we'd have given away a penalty for obstruction. Baldwinson now, fantastic leg drive to work us up to that 40-metre line. We're down the centre of the field.
Ben Blackmore takes that ball and it's gone backwards. What's the referee going to say? Jamie Cording gets away from a man. Is he going to wipe the tackle count clean? I don't know. The ball's come loose again.
Broncos have come away with the ball. They now bring it to this right side. It's come clear. Now Cromer's got the ball. He's played it out to McCartney on this right side. He comes in, but he's wrapped up well there by the defence of Chappell and Hitchcock's. Paul Wood now coming in to make sure he goes to ground.
Andy Hay must be turning his head out here. The Broncos now in the Rovers 20 they are, with Elliot Minchella, who will play that ball to Dwyer. Dwyer moves it onto the inside. The Broncos up to the 10. Centre field underneath the sticks. Dwyer. He'll spread that pass out to that left hand side again. Well, the Broncos have been so dangerous. 5 metres away under the sticks. A slow play the ball from the Broncos. They've got another player down. That ball's come loose. The referee says backwards. He was facing his own line, to be fair. And here are the Broncos again. Good defence from Rovers.
It's a fantastic tackle there from Cording. Dwyer there acting halfback. He puts the grubber in, but it's gone dead. Unable to reach it, and so it's going to be a tap on the 20. Marginet is running to take this quick. He taps it in the centre and he's away. But the defence has recovered and he's unable to break free.
Once again, Rovers physio is on. I think tending to Matt James on that occasion. Here's Blackmore now. Rovers on the foot on their own 40. Hardman shows that ball and gets Rovers up to halfway. As Andy Bostock's returning for Matt James. Matt James shake of the head there. Marginet. What a hit that is on Paul Wood. Rovers just struggling to break through this Broncos defence, as they did in that first half against the Bradford Bulls, Joe, where everything they tried.
That's a kick out on the full from Marginet in an acting halfback, and that slack play there from the Rovers on the last. It's a handover on the Broncos 40-metre line, and Rovers yet to have a set deep into opposition territory. You're never going to create chances that way, Ben.
Certainly not. The Broncos on halfway. Inside the Rovers half now. Rovers struggling to break through this Broncos defence, Joe, as they did against the Bulls. And they're struggling to find that key to unlock at the moment.
Well, it's always got to be difficult to unlock a defence when you stood 60 metres out, Ben, and Rovers haven't come much closer today.
Broncos then just inside the Rovers 30 now. Through the hands it goes. On the 20, here's the last tackle now. There has been a change for the Broncos. It's seen the introduction of Ray Nasto.
Oh,
and another forward pass.
Awarded it.
On the last tackle, so it will be the turnover. But once again, Joe, the Broncos with a good attacking opportunity, a chance to really test this Rovers line defence, and discipline or poor players cost them.
Definitely, they're squandering their opportunities, and Featherstone have given them all in the world, that's for sure. If they don't walk away with the 2 points here, they'll be gutted, and Henderson will be fuming, that's for sure, the former Eagles player.
Will Sharp then plays that ball to Marginet. Here's Paul Wood. And another knock on from Rovers. And they're making all these mistakes in the wrong places. They're knocking on inside their own 40 again. Possession is turned over. Have Rovers completed a set since half time?
I'm not sure, Ben. Paul Wood, an experienced player. You wouldn't be expecting that, would you? He knocks on within his own 40-metre area. London have another chance to attack the Rovers line.
London with a 2-score lead, currently leading by 12 points to 4 here at the Big Fella Stadium. Just over 15 minutes gone here in the second half. So 24 minutes left on the stadium clock. Rovers need to find something at the moment, and they're struggling at the moment. The Broncos in the attack. Nassau from acting half-back works that ball out to the left-hand side. This London side have now got Joe Keys in possession as Nassau takes that ball on, going for the line himself. Here go London.
The ball left. Keys sends it out wide, and they've scored in the left corner, have they? The try has been awarded here, and London have extended the lead further for still.
Once again, a Broncos try, the third of the afternoon. It's Reese Williams who scores, but again, Joe, Broncos are over on that left-hand side, tight to the corner, so it's going to be a difficult kick. But Rovers, poor control, poor handling errors again. Once again, ball control costing Rovers dearly. And all three of the London tries to have come from Rovers' mistakes.
Definitely. It's been a very slack performance tonight, and Featherstone have no one else to blame but themselves for this result. London haven't been fantastic going forward, and we play a little better. This game's been up for grabs. Come to the end of the season when the points are totted up, will we come to rue tonight's performance?
We're going to see the return of Sam Irwin on the tight to that touchline, and this is an interesting call. It's Paul Sykes, Joe, is making his way to the touchline, and Sam Irwin is coming on.
That means we'll see the combination of Marginet and Milner in the halves. Obviously not happy with what he's seen from Paul Sykes tonight, or perhaps he's carrying a little knock, but you'd have thought his kicking game would be exactly the kind of thing we'd need to get us out of trouble at the moment. Perhaps there's 20 minutes left though, and 3 scores the difference. Getting out of trouble isn't what you need, Ben. You need to create some trouble.
Certainly do. And here comes the conversion for West Nykama. The flags go up. That's a superb kick from the touchline. 21 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. Not sure how Rovers are going to get out of this one at the minute. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 18.
Well, here we are. 20 minutes left, but do you kick short already, Ben? We need this ball back. We need it in the half too.
I think Rovers have, I can't remember a time, Joe, in this second half the Rovers have had an attacking set in the Broncos 20. I think they maybe had one and they turned possession over. Here are the Broncos again. Rovers were looking for a mistake, desperate for a mistake at the minute.
The ball's brought free there to Nassau. It's a fantastic offload. He looks for support, but it's not there, and he's well tackled to the ground there by Chappell. Thomas there at the base. He brings it inside, and London now just into the Rovers half.
Here are the Broncos and inside that Rovers 40. Good pressure from the London team. Nassau moves that ball out. It's going to be a high kick here from Oscar Thomas. Easily enough for Jai Hitchcock. He takes that well, but a great chase from the Broncos, trapping Hitchcock in his own 10. The Broncos' tails are up and Rovers at the minute. You can see the heads are down at the moment, Joe.
Definitely. You can see when on the kick they're chasing impact. That's the side who's up for winning tonight's game.
This would be the Broncos' first away win of the season. Won 3 at home, lost 3 away before today. And there's a kick from Atson halfback. That's a good kick from Martian. It holds up well. And Rovers have a chance to defend the Broncos here in their own half. And the key word here, Joe, has got to be discipline.
Definitely. We need to make sure that we hold them back here. And that isn't the way to do it now. They're just short of halfway. And we're definitely losing the territorial battle in this second half.
Broncos getting over the advantage line of virtually every play of the ball. The Rovers line struggling to move up to meet them. Standing off and waiting for the Broncos team to almost come to them, Joe.
Yeah, we're not seeing anywhere near the kind of enthusiasm we saw in the first half from the Rovers. Bostock and Baldwinson wrapping up in the tackle. And Broncos, yet again, kicking within the Rovers 20. Blackmore there does well to take the ball, but Rovers starting in their own 10 again. Are we ever going to have an opportunity, Ben?
It's difficult to answer that one at the minute. Rovers struggling to even get out of their own 20. A pass from Hardman there to Chappell, which I'm not sure he was too happy with. That's one player you will always see with the effort is Jordan Baldwinson. But Broncos, 4 men almost in every tackle at the minute. Here's Tim Spears. With the headband on. Back on obviously after a head cut early doors.
Well worked away to sharp there from Chappell. He runs inside, but Cordin's in his way. Blocked by his own man. That kind of sums up Rovers' night this evening. Marginet kicks it well there and it's going to bounce out, is it? No. Helliwell tracks across and he's able to take it. He runs it back into the field of play and gets his side to 25 metres out from their line.
Broncos starting again in their own 30. But
Williams there, he breaks through the line. But it's a good leg tackle from Baldwinson there on the recovery.
Easy yards made though again from the Broncos. You can see the confidence oozing in the team. They're spreading them out, moving the ball out wide, trying the little offloads. You can see the confidence flowing, Joe.
Yeah, Ben Faraday so enthusiastic, he handed off an imaginary man, which I'm not so sure was so too effective. There's the ball's come loose and Sam Irwin's pounced on it. A bit of enthusiasm finally. Will we swing it out to the right side? No, it comes left through Cording.
Rovers get that ball on halfway. Finally an attacking set in the Broncos half. Here's Tim Spears now. Rovers on the 40. Irwin. Marginet. Through the hands it goes, out to that far side, through the hands. What's the referee saying? He's wiped that tackle count clean.
Here we are then, a set in the Broncos 30. What can we do with it? Milner there runs that ball in. Irwin sends the ball to Bostock. He's got Baldwinson on his inside. He gets the ball free, but it's come to a Broncos man. Rovers conceding possession once again when they have an opportunity. We're never going to win a game like this, Ben.
It's not hard to say, Joe. You just get the feel. It's one of those nights where nothing is going right for you.
Now for Featherstone, and London are into a half.
It's just one of those nights when nothing's going right for you at all. Every tackle, every set, penalties given away, offloading to imaginary players being dropped on by the Broncos. I think Andy Hale have a field day going analysing this match.
Not sure field day is the right expression, but they'll certainly take some analysing, that's for sure.
Here are the
Keys
Broncos.
now sends the ball into Garside. Well worked to the ground there by the defence, but it's another big ask here for the Rovers. London starting on our 20-metre line.
Nassau moves that ball out to that right-hand side through the hands. That's well wrapped up though. Good defence on that occasion. Jamie Cording in the tackle, doing well to wrap up Oscar Thomas there. Nassau hesitates and then drops that pass away. Here are the Broncos. It's a real chance for more points for this London team. Through Lovegrove, still going Lovegrove. Held up eventually, a metre short. Keys with a great kick through, but it's going to be too deep. That'll be a restart on the 20. Lovegrove made nearly 10 metres, Joey. Four players.
Blackmore looking for the quick tap here. Taps it quick down the middle. Not ruled offside by the referee. And Milner's there at the base of the ruck. He sends it inside to Sharp. And Rovers just short of the halfway line now. We look a bit more enthusiastic. This is what we want to see, Ben.
It is. Here's Nathan Chappell. Gets Rovers into Broncos half. 3 tackles in and Rovers are already there. Finally some urgency.
Here we are. Milner has the ball. He steps through the line. It's a great offload out to Hardman, and we're down that right side. 4th tackle. London 20. Comes inside to Marginet. Marginet has the ball. It's a kick. It's a clever one over the top, but can Chappell get to the ball? No, he can't. He goes dead, and McCartney's going to take the tap on the 20.
A great attacking set from Rovers and a great kick as well. Just a little bit too much on it though, Joe, but finally some urgency in that Rovers attack and ball control as well.
The ball skid along the turf a little too much, but that's more of the kind of thing we wanted to see from this Rovers side. It's the kind of thing that's going to get us back in this game.
Here are the Broncos now on their own 40-metre line. Oh, Rovers defence dropping off a couple of tackles there. It's Mincello who plays that ball. What a run that is from Nassau, making nearly 20 metres.
It's been a night for acting halfbacks this evening, that's for sure. Thomas there gets the ball away to Keys. London now bringing the ball inside. It's a good tackle though. Cording and Bostock meeting the attack well. Thomas there sends a kick in, it skids along the turf as well. Will this go dead? No, Will Sharp has to tap it out himself. And a dropout is awarded. London gonna have the ball in Rovers territory once again.
That's a controversial one. Will Sharp saying he had a foot dead. When he knocked that ball dead, the referee and touch judge disagreeing and giving a dropout.
Well, if you're listening to this one on the street, make sure you buy the DVD and watch that, because we've got to think of some way of selling this.
12.5 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. Not a right night for the Rovers by any means at all. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 18. The wait for a win at the Big Fella Stadium looks to be continuing at the moment. Oscar Thomas picks that ball up and offloads it away. And here are the Broncos again with Lovegrove. 30 metres out, centre field. It's worked inside now. It's Elliot Delapi. Keys. He's been a real danger man for the Broncos as well, Joe. He's been in the highest of everything the Broncos have done.
Yeah, young lad, England under 19 international. Big things expected from him.
It's Broncos on 8 metres out, under the sticks, centre field. A real opportunity to put this game to bed now. Oscar Thomas with the pass inside, the ball spilled. Hitchcock picks up, and that was a real chance for the Broncos to put that ball, this game, to bed.
Ball knocked on there from Ben Farron, and the referee awards a penalty. Rovers gonna get up the field now and have an opportunity. Marginet wants to take the quick tap, but instead it's gonna be the kick to touch. No Paul Sykes on the field touch. Marginet who has to kick it. I thought that one might have been coming for us there, but alas not. Will Sharp taps it on the 40, works his way just shy of halfway. He's always going to run it in as hard as he can, Sharpie.
Marginet drops that ball off to Baldwinson. Now the biggest cheer of the afternoon around this stadium when that penalty was awarded to Rovers. As Sam Irwin now waits. He takes on the line himself.
There haven't been many thunderous cheers though, because whilst they're committed, the London fans, they might be few in number on a Good Friday.
Indeed, here are Rovers then on the London 30. Irwin takes on that line. That's a good dart from Atkin half. Rovers going down that short side. It's a dink over the top from Marginet. It's well read by the Broncos though. Great positioning on that far side. They're able to stop that attack dead, and then now have a chance to return that ball back at Rovers.
Yeah, London now bringing the ball on the inside, scooting away on the foot of the ruck there, Joe Keys. It's now Kwame now in at acting halfback, scoots the ball away. They're fully aware of what to do now. 10 minutes left on the clock. Stick it up your jumper time, keep hold of the ball, set completion, and it's a deep kick there. Will Sharp takes the ball on the full, he runs it down the centre of the field.
Will Sharp takes on that line himself. He's met by good defence though on that occasion. Two in the tackle, Daniel Harrison one and Lovegrove the other.
Those two are in the tackle again now as Chappell works this into the Broncos half. Cordin has the ball, he looks to tip it onto Hitchcock, but instead takes on the line himself and works this into the Broncos 40.
The communication on that particular play, Hitchcock and Cording almost taking the same line, but Rovers out on that far side now. Here's Ben Blackmore attacking that Broncos line.
That's more of what we want to see. We need some desperate play now. Not got much time left on the clock, and we need 3 scores, Ben.
Hitchcock's then for Rovers. 8.5 minutes left here at the Big Fella Stadium. Featherstone Rovers 4, London 18. Marginet puts a kick up. Will Sharp chases it, but it's taken by the Broncos. The touch judge is on, the flag is raised. I fancy that'll be tackled in the air and a penalty to the Broncos team, Joe.
We've got that problem again, Ben. We're not finishing our sets well. We've worked our way into the London half.
Penalty's been given to Rovers.
Oh, we'll take that, ladies and gents. Penalty in the Broncos 10. We've got a full half. Throwing the shoulder in the London man, and
yes, please.
Here we are, folks. Need to score now.
Marginet takes that tap. Irwin takes the tap to Marginet, sorry. Rovers 6 tackles in the London 20, but look at that defence. Pushing the Rovers players back fully 15 metres.
Credit where credit's due. London want this game.
Here's Andy Bostock. They won't push him back 15 metres, that's for sure. Irwin waits. Marginet. Rovers there attacking that line, trying to find a gap.
But London are smart to it, tackled just short.
Here are Rovers on that far side of the over. Oh, it's inches surely. Packing that road defence. Rovers, I think, have knocked on.
Knock on, and the ball's going to come away to London here. Sure enough, referee awards head and feet to the visitors.
I've got to say one thing, you've got to give credit to London. That defence was absolutely outstanding with a 14-point lead. They could easily have said to Rovers, with the pressure that Rovers were given, you could understand London conceding a try there, but no, they want to keep this to 1 try.
Absolutely. 7 minutes on the clock, didn't score there. I'm afraid to say, I think that's the game.
Here are the Broncos now then. In front of their own sticks, and we can't remember the last time Rovers were defending the Broncos here.
Some good defence. Rovers are still up for this.
Here are the Broncos. Discipline is key. Keep the Broncos here. If we can keep London team here and get a good return from a good position, they're going to have another crack at this London line.
Very important that we end this game well, regardless of the result. Sheffield on Monday, of course, so end this game with some dignity. Make sure you have a bit of momentum going into the clash on Monday. It's a very important weekend after all.
It is indeed. Hitchcock's there. That was a fantastic kick from the Broncos. The Eagles, of course, winning at Doncaster on Wednesday night by 26 points to 4. A high tackle there on Will Sharp, so that'll be a relieving penalty. The trainer is on for Rovers, who's going to make a change for Rovers. Rovers bringing Andy Bostock on in the middle of a play. Anxious to get Matt James on. Interesting the timing of Ian Morrison coming on there, Joe.
Yeah, but desperate times, Ben. We need these players on the field so they can make a difference. I'm sorry, you were talking about Ian Morrison there. If he was playing, maybe he was a player who was always up for it and the type of player we need in this scenario. I'm afraid I was watching the substitution, so I didn't quite catch that.
Rovers on this near side now. Cording trying to spin out to tackle, but good defence again by Ilias McCartney. He's been impressive for the Broncos. Here's Matt James now. Rovers attacking that Broncos line again. 8.5 minutes showing the left on the stadium clock. Martinet juggles it and then offloads to Hardman. Hardman tries to cut inside. That's going to be a kick through. It's well closed down by the Broncos, is it? The Broncos come away with it, so again the chance goes for Rovers, trying to use the condition and the slipperiness of the surface. But again, Joe, it comes to nothing.
Yeah, we finally got ourselves into this London half consistently in the last 10 minutes. But unable to cross the whitewash on any of those occasions. And thus it remains Jack Ormonroyd, the only Rovers player to score in this game.
Here are the Broncos. It looks like Brad Dwyer's on again. And once again, we've seen it so many times today. The kick from X in half. This one straight down the throat of Hitchcock, so able to return it to the halfway line. Great fullback positioning by Hitchcock and a great return, Joe.
Definitely so. Ben Blackmore jumps in at acting halfback. He works himself forwards, but well met by 3 London defenders. Only let him get 5 metres. Irwin there taking advantage through the centre of the field.
Irwin plays the ball to Martinet. Martinet offloads that pass now to Tim Spears. Rovers back up to the 20. Another attacking chance in the Broncos 20. Rovers have struggled in this area tonight. That's a good drive through again on that occasion. That's a good kick through from Rovers. Great positional play again. And the Broncos are away.
Williams has got himself away and he's racing downfield. Remy Marginet is reeling him in and Will Sharp's tracking across, but I don't think either of them are going to catch him.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that. Dave Williams goes over. Boos around the stadium. Rovers fans not impressed with this at all. It has to be, arguably the worst performance that we've seen this year.
Rhys Williams crosses for his second of the evening. I think Dave Williams, the prop forward, would be pretty chuffed with running a length for the field trying. And 6 minutes on the clock. The score at 4 points, and there's somewhat of an exodus of Rovers fans now going on for their fish and chips.
Rovers fans certainly not impressed as the boos rang out around the big fella stadium then. 5 minutes left here though. Featherstone Rovers 4, London Broncos 22 with a kick to come. Very disappointing from Rovers this evening. The enthusiasm of the Broncos has just been too much for them to cope with. The execution of the tries for the Broncos has come at just the right time, as we're going to see a double change made as Thackeray and Williams come back on. A superb performance from the Broncos. Credit where credit is due, Joe. But Rovers tonight just haven't been here at all.
Definitely so. London, got to pay some credit to them. Not been a classic performance tonight, but they've played to the conditions. They've realised what has to be done, and they've come away with the 2 points deservedly. You've got to think, with this win over us and last week's win over Halifax, they've well and truly arrived in this competition after a shaky start, Ben.
They have indeed. London's first away win of the season to this evening, and a convincing win it has been. Andy Hay, I'm sure, will have a lot to say. A very short turnaround to Monday. Not a lot of time to dissect this one. As the goal is converted, it's 24-4. Not a lot of time to dissect this one. And he's got a huge task ahead of him now. Not only to dissect this, Joe, but he's got to lift this team for another match in a couple of days' time against another challenging team in the Eagles.
Definitely so. No Easter eggs for this team. They've got to get themselves in the gym and make sure they're working hard to be ready for Sheffield, because they'll pose a challenge, that's for sure.
The Eagles, of course, having an extra 2 days rest. They played on Wednesday night against Doncaster. There is the kick-off, and it's well taken by the Broncos. And again, the 1,654 here at the Big Fellas tonight. Seen in a very efficient performance from the Broncos. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the Rovers, who are struggling to get that elusive first win down here. You have to fancy Monday won't be any easier.
Definitely the case. Sheffield, a team with some star players and a team that's always been a pokey side for the Rovers over previous years. It'll be a tough ask to lift ourselves from this performance for that clash, that's for sure.
Of course, former Rovers players in that Sheffield team as well, Kyle Briggs and Tony Tonks.
Yeah, and Sam Smeaton, of course. Let's not forget some really big names familiar to the Rovers fans here, and it's going to get tasty, that one, that's for sure. And many a big encounter, two real Goliaths in this league, and they're going to meet once again in the battle for that top 4 place.
Make sure you're down here on Monday night, folks. It'll be a game to enjoy as Martinet in possession. We're in the last 2.5 minutes.
He works himself clear of the defence 3 times there. Eventually he's now leave it till 2 minutes to play. Just bring out your fancy footwork, Remy, that's the way.
Joe, this is probably the one question you don't want me to ask you tonight. It's not been the best performance by any means from the Rovers team. Who is your man of the match?
Well, this might seem like an unusual one. I think the back line have been very impressive all the way tonight, but not many tries scored, so difficult to give it to any of those. Now as the ball's worked out to Ben Blackmore, but he doesn't fancy himself down the outside, so brings himself into the field of play. I think I'm going to give it to Sam Irwin, in fact, as he plays the ball in there to Will Milner. We really lacked something, I feel, when he went off the field. There's Remy Martinet's kick into Nathan Chappell. It's a cross-field one there, and it's taken by the centre. He goes over to make a consolation try there, just over a minute to play. It's a consolation, but it gives us a little something to enjoy going into Sheffield's game. We'll hope to see a couple more tries like that in that game. But definitely, I'm looking forward to getting Andy Ellis back, so we've got an interchange of 2 hookers. Martinet's very much a halfback filling in at hooker when he goes there. We saw that when Irwin jumped in, and he really gives us something on the go forward. He's very opportunistic around the ruck area, and his distribution's fast.
Certainly is. Rovers there with a great consolation try at the end. A great kick it was by Martinet. Nathan Chappell able to spin out of the tackle and get over. I think it's Martinet who's going to be taking this kick now. It's gone across the face, so No goals converted tonight by Rovers. Featherstone Rovers 8, London Broncos 24.
London now with the kick-off. This going to be the last set of the game for the Rovers, and this one out. It's important that we respond quickly in that game against Sheffield. To me, this could be a season-defining weekend. We had to walk away from it with some points, and we failed at the first opportunity here tonight. Got to make sure we register a win against Sheffield for my money.
Yeah, I have to say, after the two games this Easter weekend, this was the one I would have fancied out of the two for us to get something from. Sheffield are very much a bogey side for Rovers over the years. When we play them, they're either outstanding and cause a lot of problems, or Rovers, they are shocking and Rovers played really well against them. There's no grey area with Sheffield, is there, Joe?
No, they are a side of huge inconsistencies, and you do have to feel that that's perhaps down to they're not so much a star team, but a team of stars. And if some of those key players don't turn up for them, then they're always going to struggle.
Tries in this second half for the Broncos go for Thomas Williams and Rhys Williams. All three converted by, two converted by Nakama, and a Nathan Chappell try for Rovers as well. 24 points to 8, 1,654 of the attendance. And they have seen what's been a very disappointing as Rovers.
Martinet nicks the ball along the floor, but it's well taken by Ben Helliwell, sliding along the ground there. The hooter goes.
An end to the Rovers' misery tonight, it has to be said. A very, very disappointing performance throughout the whole 80 minutes. It was only 6-4 at half-time, Joe, and you fancied if Rovers could get the first try, it was all on and they could go on and get something from this. But those tries from Thomas Williams and Rhys Williams knocking the stuffing out of Rovers.
Definitely, it's been a little slack tonight from Fev. We could have won this game without a doubt, but we've not found ourselves up in opposition territory enough. Not had the right set completion and giving away slack penalties. It's an easy performance to rectify, at least going into that game against Sheffield. We've just got to be up for it, simple as.
Short turnaround to Monday when we do play the Eagles down here. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Obviously tiredness may play a part, but then on the flip side the players will be itching to get back and make a point.
Definitely so. At least with the short turnaround we can immediately put this game behind us and focus on the next game. We make a good recovery there, and this is just a blip.
Hopefully so. Full time here at the Big Fella Stadium in front of 1,654. Rovers still searching for the first win down here. Featherstone Rovers 8, London Broncos 24. Well, Andy, what can you say about a performance like that?
Pretty embarrassing. I think if you've got this far through the video and you're watching this at the end, you've done very well. And it's the worst performance I've seen down here since I've been here, and it's probably one of the worst performances I've seen from a team for a long time. So no excuses. I think we turned too much ball over. Again, discipline was poor. We just couldn't complete any sets and gain any momentum in the game.
6-4 down at half-time, you go into half-time, you think you've got a chance here, but we weren't really in the first half. But when you get that try, you think you've got a chance, and then the second half, you just capitulated yet again at home.
Yeah, just thought half-time, we got through to half-time because we were hanging on in there, and London didn't, they had a lot of ball, but they didn't throw a lot of stuff that worried us really in defence. Scored a try from dummy half, and they had a hell of a lot of ball on our line. We didn't have too much, so at half-time it was time to regroup, and didn't think we could play any worse. But I'm sure they proved me wrong, and they proved themselves wrong, because we did. We came out and started the game terribly, and we only managed to get a consolation try at the end. The rest of the half was a whole lot worse than the first half.
A distinct lack of enthusiasm, it almost appeared for large periods of that second half. That must disappoint you as a coach.
Massively, you know, there's a good selection there, and we picked the same 17 as the week before for a reason. They performed really well. They showed energy and enthusiasm last week, and in 7 days that's all just disappeared. There's fit players chomping at the heels, wanting to get a shirt, who we didn't select this week because we give the guys a chance who performed well last week, and we just didn't. I didn't see that coming, and the most worrying thing is the desire, the enthusiasm, and it's a lack of it. I thought there was a couple of players who had a go, and the back three again, had a go. They made a couple of errors between them. I thought Jamie Cordin, tried hard, but everyone else, I thought, there was some effort there, but not very smart, and the enthusiasm was gone.
Paul Sykes came off in the second half. Was that an injury-related substitution?
No, it wasn't. I don't think he'd been performing very well, so I had to bring him off. It wasn't going to get any better, so we've got a couple of other halves there who can play, so we put them on, and I thought Will Milner, up into the kicky putting at the end, got their last try. I thought he looked very good, and Remy again when he went back to half, so Sykes, he wasn't tactic, it was more that he wasn't playing his best game.
Tried a number of different combinations at half-back throughout the first few matches. Do you know what your first choice half-back partnership is?
No, because they keep going up and down and changing the way they play, and again, we've got Gazmore back fit, so it might change again this week.
Looking ahead now, you've got the Eagles on Monday, quick turnaround. Will there be changes for that match?
I think they probably will. Yeah, it's I've got some good players who sat out today who are fit and ready to go, and I can't give many good reasons why a lot of the players who played today should keep the shirt, and we can't have players who aren't performing, being able to play, and week in week out while players aren't getting selected. So I'm sure we'll see some changes.
Just how difficult is it to pick the players up after a performance like tonight, which plus they must be down about it and disheartened about it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. They don't go out there to play like that. We've got to find the reason, but they don't go out there to play like that. They've trained well all week and really well, and then they've turned up today and just not performed. So it's going to be tough to pick them up. We've got 2 days to do it. We're not going to sweep this under the carpet. We've got to talk about it. We've got to face up to it as a group, and we've got to be ready for Sheffield, because that's going to be a tough game. And Sheffield are a far better side than London. So we're in with a tough game.
Any injury news from today's match?
No, everybody came through okay. Tim Spears got a cut on his head. He's having a stitch in it, but he'll be fine.
Rennie Maitua on the plane back here over here today. Any chance of seeing him on Monday?
I'm sure we'll see him. He arrives tomorrow morning, so we'll get him into the gym, do a little bit of work with him, try and flush some of the journey out, and we'll have a look at him on Sunday morning in training with the boys and see where he's up to, and if he's ready to play, he'll play.
Just how big an impact do you think he can make in the side when you've got players underperforming like they have tonight? Bringing in a player of that quality, is it going to help the rest of the team as well? I
think he will, but again, if we do what we've done tonight and give that much ball away and don't get to any of our sets and drop the ball on first or second tackle, and he's going to find it very difficult, because no matter who you put in that team today, I think they'd struggle. We've got to get ourselves out of this hole very quickly, and it wasn't seen coming, and I don't think many people saw it coming. We haven't been fluent week in, week out, but we were gradually getting better, and I thought we were fairly good at Dewsbury last week, and the same 17 have managed to put that performance in today. So I'm sure with bringing Rennie in and Gazmore and Andy Ellis is ready to play, and Jack Buss is back fit and Mendy's fit, and I'm sure some of them guys, if they play, they'll bring some energy to the team.
Do you think we'll see James Mendy on Monday?
Maybe.
Andy, thanks for your time.
No worries.